Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air Nicomsat. Now the news in full. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says the distribution of permanent voters card (PVCs) to new applicants across Edo State local government areas has commenced. The Commission's National Commissioner and Chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeko, in the statement said the distribution at the ward level have been concluded, with 125,928 PVCs collected within 5 days. INEC, while urging applicants to come for their card, noted that it would not release them to third parties. Over 50,000 people have taken refuge in public schools and government buildings across Jigawa State following a devastating flood that affected 17 local government areas. The displaced persons are struggling with a severe shortage of necessities, with many women and children falling ill. Global Television correspondent Idris Jibrin visited Buji local government, one of the hardest hit areas, and now reports. We apologize that news report will be brought in our subsequent bulletin. The Economic Community of West African State, ECOWAS, says now is the time to invest in enormous resources in peace and regional integration. This was the position of the Commission at a joint strategy and consultation session between the private sector and stakeholders on peace. In order to address the challenge faced by member states, Samuel Odi completes the report. The Assistant Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Bayelsa State, Amaldini Telbibi, has arrested by men of the Nigerian police for alleged illegal possession of firearms. It was reported that Telbi, an ex-militant who is currently undergoing interrogation, has been held at the Criminal Investigation Department of the Bayelsa State Police Command due to lack of detention facility at the zone. The 2023 PDP presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has criticized the federal government for the 18-year age limit on NECO and WAEC exams, calling it absurd and a barrier to scholarships. Minister of Education Professor Tahir Mamman had announced that the federal government has banned individuals below 18 from participating in NECO and WAEC examinations. Over now to Kebbi State Governor Nasir Idris has promised to reconstruct the Wahid washed away bridge and roads in the Suru and Meyama local government area of the state. The governor made the pledge while inspecting the washed away bridge along the Suru Kwara Dengeri Road and some rice farms destroyed by the flood in Suru local government. He reiterated the readiness of his administration to extend hands of fellowship to all manners of the people across the state. The Nigerian Immigration Service has deported a Zambian bishop, Edin Ehewatawi, for participating in the Methodist Church leadership election process while on a tourist visa. In a statement issued by its public relations officer, Kenneth Udo, the service described the bishop's action as a clear violation of the terms and privileges associated with the tourist visa, as outlined in Nigerian Visa Policy 2024. The Executive Secretary of Kaduna State Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Usman Hayatu Mazadu, says over 200 houses in Zaria and Sabongeri local government area have been destroyed by recent floods in the state. Despite flood predictions and warnings, some residents refused to relocate, resulting in significant damage. Dr. Hayatu Mazadu said while addressing newsmen in the state, he noted that the state government had taken measures to mitigate the impact of the flood, including insulating drainage systems and conducting sensitization campaigns. Kogi State Governor Ahmed Ododo has approved the appointment of 12 new permanent secretaries in the state public service representing their respective constituencies to fill the available vacancies. This was contained in a statement issued by the head of service, Elijah Evineme. The governor stressed that the permanent secretaries were carefully selected based on merit, fairness, and justice. 2 people have reportedly been killed and another person injured after a plane tire exploded at the Atlanta airport in the United States. The tire of the plane had reportedly exploded as it was being removed at the Delta Airlines operation facility at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. The airport, which is located in the southeastern part of U.S. state of the Georgia, is renowned as the busiest in the world. A Nigerian Navy personnel, Abdul Rashid Mohammed, has been arrested for the murder of Aminu, the son of former Chief of Naval Vice Admiral Ishaya Ibrahim, retired. Speaking while parading the suspects in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory Commissioner of Police, Bennett Igwe, said Mohammed killed Aminu and stole his car 2 weeks ago. Igwe noted that about 2 weeks ago, Aminu Ibrahim, the son of Vice Admiral Ibrahim, retired, a former chief of naval staff, was robbed and killed in the Maitama area of Abuja, and his Prado SUV was taken. However, Abdul Rashid Mohammed has confessed to the crime and his car had been recovered. You're watching News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, where News Cycle returns Ekong Osihem Aina, 12 others to battle the Rwanda in 2025 AFCON qualifiers. Details of these and more after this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcasts of News Cycle. Thank you for staying with us. The federal government and state governments have raised 100 billion naira for the procurement of prepaid electricity meters. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu said this was under the Presidential Meter Initiative program. Adelabu disclosed this while addressing broadcasters in Ibadan, Oyo State capital, where he stated that President Bola Tinubu's administration have been making efforts to close the meter gap in Nigeria, adopting various initiatives. On Business Now, the federal government has initiated plans to enlist the service of an external auditor to verify 2.7 trillion naira fuel subsidy claim by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited against the government. The yet-to-be-named auditor will assist the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation in determining the real amount owed by the government. Development comes 5 months after the plan was proposed at the monthly Federation Allocation Account Committee meeting in April 2024. Meanwhile, Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Privatization and Commercialization, Hamisu Ibrahim, has pledged the committee's resolve to work with relevant committees in the House to pass legislation on electricity theft in the country. Speaking when he had led other members of the committee on an oversight visit to the Eco Electricity Distribution Company in Lagos, Ibrahim decried the rate of electricity theft in the country, saying the legislation would check the abuse. In a statement by the head of Public Communications Bureau of Public Enterprise, Amina Othman, the chairman called for collaboration between the committee and electricity power companies for effective and efficient power supply in the country. Nigeria's daily oil production shrank by 160,000 barrels per day in the second quarter of 2024. This was contained in a report released by the National Bureau of Statistics stating that within 3 months, the country had recorded an average daily production of 1.41 million barrels per day. The figure is lower than the first quarter production volume of 1.57 million barrels per day. On our foreign news, a Chinese hospital ship has docked in Cape Town, South Africa, to bring much-needed free medical care to South African patients as part of a joint exercise between the two nations. South Africa's Army Health Service said in a statement that the Peace Ark arrived on the country's western shore on August 22nd and will provide independent medical services for 7 consecutive days. One of the beneficiaries spoke at her reason for using the service. Despite being the most advanced economy on the continent, South Africa grappled with widespread poverty and high unemployment, making quality health care often inaccessible. The founder and chief of Telegram, Pavel Durov, is set to learn whether he will face charges and even be remanded in custody after his weekend arrest by French authorities over alleged violations at the messaging app. Durov was arrested at Elleberg Airport outside Paris, where the judicial authorities have repeatedly extended his initial period of detention, which can last a maximum of 96 hours. As part of a probe that was confidentially opened on July 8, Durov is reportedly being investigated on suspicions of 12 offenses related to failing to curb extremist content on Telegram. In his first major speech since taking office, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says life in Britain will get worse before it gets better. Starmer, whose Labour Party was elected by a landslide on July 4th, is expected to use the speech to ramp up attacks on the legacy left by the outraged Conservatives.
That's what we've inherited. Not just an economic black hole, a societal black hole. And that's why we have to take action and do things differently. And part of that is being honest with people about the choices that we face, how tough this will be. And frankly, things will get worse before they get better.
Keir Starmer, UK Prime Minister, Finance Minister Rachel Reeves in recent days has also warned of difficult decisions over whether to cut spending or increase taxes in the first budget on October 30th. An oil tanker which was attacked by Yemen's Houthi rebels in the Red Sea last week is still on fire and may be leaking oil, the U.S. Pentagon says. Attempts to salvage the Greek-owned and flagged MV Solon have been thwarted by the Houthis, who have threatened more attacks. The Pentagon adds the ship is carrying more than 150,000 tons or 1 million barrels of crude oil, and a major spill has the potential to be among the largest from a ship in recorded history. The Iran-backed Houthis, who control much of the Yemen, said they have been attacking ships in the Red Sea for 10 months in support of the Palestinians in the war between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Kenya on Tuesday unveiled the candidature of its former Prime Minister Raila Odinga for chairperson of the African Union Commission at the colorful ceremony graced by several East African community heads of state.
One is to work with you, Your Excellencies, and make the AU more people-centered and serve the interests of the vast voiceless majority of Africans. I dream of an Africa where those borders and colonial languages no longer divide us. We don't want to see Africans to be divided as Anglophones, Francophones, Lusophones. I want them to be Africaphones.
Odinga presented East African leaders his overriding objective to running to become the continent's commission chairman. President Ruto said Odinga enjoys a positive reputation as a zealous Pan-African who has constantly demonstrated strong faith in Africans' possibilities. U.S. prosecutors have issued reverse charges against former President Donald Trump for his alleged attempt to interfere in the 2020 election after he lost to Joe Biden. They are in response to a U.S. Supreme Court ruling last month that said presidents enjoyed broad immunity from criminal prosecutions for official acts while in office. The reverse indictment lays out the same 4 criminal counts against Trump, which he denies, but they now relate to his status as a political candidate rather than a sitting president. It appears unlikely that the case and other criminal cases faced by Republicans will reach court before this year's election on 5th November. In sports, as the excitement builds for the 2024-25 UEFA Champions League, Europe's elite clubs are gearing up for another thrilling session of the high-stakes football. With the group stage draw set to take place in Monaco, the final list of qualified teams have been revealed, featuring powerhouses from across the continent alongside some surprising newcomers. Alongside the UCL's historic 36-team league phase, the UEFA Europe League and UEFA Conference League draw will also take place shortly after. Cristiano Ronaldo, a name synonymously with excellence in European football, is set to receive a prestigious honor for UEFA solidifying his status as the UEFA Champions League all-time top scorer. The special award will be presented by UEFA President Alexander Kasirin during the 2024-25 UEFA Champions League draw ceremony on 29 August at the Grimaldi Forum in Monaco. According to a statement from the UEFA website, Ronaldo's unparalleled achievements in the UEFA Champions League, including his 140 goals across 180 appearances, have redefined the competition's history. Cristiano Ronaldo has revealed that his plans to retire from football within the next 2 or 3 years, though he hasn't finalized when to bring his illustrious career to a close. The 39-year-old, who will turn 40 on February 5, 2025, continues to excel with Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia and remains active on the international stage. In a recent interview, Ronaldo revealed that his retirement from international football will be a spontaneous decision, catching everyone by surprise. Captain William Ekang, wing back Oluwa Aina and forward Victor Osimhen and Taiwo Owoniyi are back in the Super Eagles nest for the next month's 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying matches against Benin Republic and Rwanda. This year's AFCON man of the competition, Ekang, was discontinued by the match days 3rd and 4th of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying race in June as he was recovering from injury. While Aina Owoniyi and reigning African Player of the Year Victor Osimhen were out injured altogether. There are the 3 goalkeepers, including AFCON 2023 star Stanley Owobeli, 7 defenders, 6 midfielders, and 7 forwards. South American football was in mourning following the death of defender Joan Izardo, who collapsed on the pitch from an irregular heartbeat during a Copa Libertadores game last week. The cause of death was respiratory attack, arrest linked to his cardiac, according to his club Nassau, based on the doctor's report. And as we end the Global TV news cycle, let's take a quick look at the top stories again. House of Representatives has pledged to pass bill on electricity theft. In business, federal and state government move to raise 100 billion naira for meter procurement. On the foreign scene, Donald Trump to face reverse 2020 election interference charge. Finally, in sports, Ronaldo has hinted at surprise retirement, ruling out coaching future. And that's it on News Cycle. And it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and free to air. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms by using the Global TV engine and the handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.